The northern United States could be in for a colder and snowier pattern in the near future, and if all the correct factors play out, we could be in for a significant snowstorm in the northeast by next week. If we were to take a look at the GFS model, we should see a snowstorm by this late weekend for the northeast and the Ohio River Valley, where we do see a small area of low pressure develop right around the midsection of the country, as well of a high amount of instability that's going on right around the Midwest at this time, and we do see some snow showers in the northern portion of Missouri. And if I were to continue to move forward, we do see that while there isn't an insanely high amount of instability, there's still just enough for some snow showers to develop, where we could see a large area of 1 to 3 inches of snow based on the latest depiction of the GFS model, where we do see that there's just enough cold air behind this low pressure system to create an unstable environment for convection to occur and as snowfall to occur, as the temperature should be low enough by the Sunday night into early Monday timeframe, where I'd say the heaviest snow should approach the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area by the Sunday night time frame. That's when the low pressure system should be at its closest proximity to you guys, and then it should move out relatively quickly by the Monday morning time frame. But you need to watch out for the possibility of some snow showers. Like I said, this low pressure system isn't likely to dump a heavy amount of snowfall, but it is at least something to be aware of, especially if you do enjoy the snow, because this could be one of your few opportunities you will experience snowfall in the northeast as the low pressure system continues to head further eastward. Now, if I were to continue to move forward, there could be a bigger concern in the more long-term future, where a significant snowstorm could develop and impact the northeast, because behind this next trough, we're going to see just enough of a strong jet stream dip for a little bit of a clipper system to move southward into the northern United States. And if we see this trough that's coming off the Pacific Northwest as well as this clipper system coincide with each other, then we could potentially see a significant nor'easter for the northeast, where we could see heavy snowfall over where we could see over 6 inches of snowfall in many areas of the northeast. If I were to continue to move forward, clipper system is expected to move southward into the northern Midwest and northeast, and we do see a strong low pressure system coming off the Pacific coast at this time. And if we were to see this clipper system move into the northeast at around the same time period, where we're going to see just enough cold air move into the northeast associated with this clipper system by the time this trough comes into play, and we could see potentially a major snowstorm. The GFS model still does predict a major snowstorm to develop in the northeast, where we are seeing a large area of 6 to 12 inches of snow, especially in the higher elevations of the northeast. However, I'd say anywhere south of New York City in this scenario is experiencing more of a rain event, but there easily could be that possibility that maybe this clipper system moves south enough to bring that cold air further southward to involve some of the other cities in the northeast. And it really all depends on the timing of when this trough moves southward, because if this trough were to move southward at the correct moment, right when this low pressure system approaches the northeast, and we could be in for a significant snowstorm for the northeast and even the eastern portions of the Midwest. So we're going to pay very close attention to this. As of right now, the GFS model is mainly bringing the heaviest snowfall to the interior northeast, but there's easily that possibility we could see snow spread throughout a large area of the northeast, even the more populated areas, where we do see that even in this scenario, we're seeing snow right around the mid-Atlantic, right around Pennsylvania, even DC is getting involved, and we see another nor'easter form as all of this jet stream dip that's induced by this clipper system moving southward into the northeast. So this is definitely something we're going to pay very close attention to, because this could be our next significant snowstorm, but there's still a high amount of uncertainty as the computer models can't seem to agree which scenario will be the more correct one, because the GFS model in the previous runs wanted to bring the snow a little bit further southward, but it's been going back and forth. Same goes for the European model, which I'm going to show you guys right now. The European model also expects a trough to develop into this weekend, right around the midsection of the country, and we should see some snow showers just to the north of this trough. However, the European model isn't expecting as large of an area of snowfall just to the north of this low pressure system, as it doesn't expect as much instability or convection as the GFS model, but we could still see some isolated snow showers in the northeast, as this is fairly certain at this time that the northeast will at least experience some light snowfall as we approach the Sunday night time frame, so you want to prepare for that possibility. You could expect anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow, especially for Pennsylvania, potentially northern New Jersey as well. We're going to need to really see which of the two computer models still is a more correct one, because GFS model wants to bring a heavier amount of snowfall over a larger area in the Northeast, but you should at the very least expect light snowfall somewhere in the Northeast throughout Pennsylvania and potentially northern New Jersey, Ohio as well. But in terms of whether or not you'll experience 1 to 3 inches of snow, that's still a little bit uncertain, but at least expect light snowfall from this snowstorm as we approach the Sunday time frame. Now, say moving forward into the more long-term future, we could see a significant snowstorm also develop, where the European model also expects significant snowstorm to develop right around the northern portion of the United States, where we do see a pretty significant jet stream dip just to the west of this low pressure system as a result of a clipper system moving southward. However, the European model expects a completely different scenario where the trough moves a little bit further eastward a lot quicker than the GFS model. So as a result, there isn't as much cold air locked in place in the northern United States. So in this scenario, the European model expects more of a rain event to develop, but we do still see a little bit of a nor'easter develop just off the coast of the Northeast on the backside of this trough. So that's something to keep in mind, but really it all depends on the timing of this trough as it continues to move further southeastward, and I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days, because I'd say it's becoming more likely we will see at least some sort of powerful mid-latitude cyclone move into the Northeast by next week, into late next week. I'm talking about the weekend of the 13th of January 13th. So this is more in the long-term future, but I do expect a strong mid-latitude cyclone to move into the eastern half of the United States, but it's still uncertain whether or not we're going to see a heavy amount of snowfall over a large area in the northern United States. But I'll keep you guys updated. Again, depends on how far south this jet stream dips, which depends on the position of this clipper system as it approaches the United States, or as it moves just north of the United States, depending on the position of the jet stream dip. So I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days, but at least something to be aware of by the time we approach the next weekend's time frame. So I'll keep you guys updated. So let's say the GFS's model's forecast was correct. So in terms of this first snowstorm, we do see that GFS model is expecting a relatively large area of 1 to 3 inches, especially towards Pennsylvania, just to the north of Washington, D.C. as well. And we do see some snowfall in New Jersey, Ohio, the northern portion of Indiana, and the mid portion of Illinois, and the northern portion of Missouri. You guys are receiving at least 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, so you want to at least be aware of that possibility. But in terms of this next potential major snowstorm, so if the latest GFS model was completely correct when it comes to snowfall, which is still unlikely, of course the GFS model is going to be completely correct with this forecast, especially this far out, but you could see over 6 inches of snow over a large area of Northeast if the GFS model's forecast was correct, and even into Pennsylvania as well. So this would be a very significant snowstorm, and there's easily that possibility we could see that snow move further southward depending on how significant this jet stream dip will be. And we do see 3 to 6 inches of snow right around the Boston area, and we could easily see that snow move into other Interstate 95 corridor cities like Washington, D.C. even in this scenario is expecting 3 to 6 inches of snow. So this is definitely something to be aware of over the next several days, and I'll keep you guys updated regarding any changes with the forecast and the certainty. In terms of what the European model is expecting with this first snowstorm that's expected to move through late Saturday into the late Sunday time frame, we do see the European model is also expecting a relatively large area of snow, but the snowfall is mostly a lot lighter than the GFS model, where the European model is leaning more towards dusting only falling throughout the Ohio River Valley and the Mid-Atlantic rather than 1 to 3 inches or so the GFS model is forecasting. But still something to be aware of, as road conditions could be slick, but taking a look at what the European model expects from this next major mid-latitude cyclone, we do see that the snow is primarily exclusive to the higher elevations of Northeast rather than a larger portion of the Northeast. So this would primarily only affect the areas in the higher elevations of the Northeast, but there's of course still that highly uncertain forecast. So I'll keep you guys updated if we do see any more change with the forecast, with the European model expecting a little bit less snow than the GFS model. So here's my forecast when it comes to this next potential major winter storm for the Northeast. So this is at least if you're in the pink, this is the area you need to be at least aware of the most when it comes to this next potential significant snowstorm by next week, because this is an area where you're the most likely at risk if a snowstorm were to develop. Still highly uncertain, but you at least need to be aware of this if you're in the pink and even in the blue, because there's that possibility we could see a major snowstorm by next week. But I thank you guys for watching.